Yeah, man.
Was walking down the street by myself just the other day. I saw this man, and I asked him kindly, sir, what is the plan? And I thought to myself, would he give me that evil eye, that evil so bright?
Would he just look at me and say,
"You dope smoking hippie, get out of my face. Get out of my face." And I say to myself, oh Lord, what a beautiful, beautiful world. Don't ever want to leave. Don't want to leave too soon. Let's ride our road. Keep you rapping and singing in the corner of your mind. Like a tick with your fingers to your mind and give it time. Temporary laptop, memory is what I suffer from. Thinking I am proud to my head, not to get your drum. Yeah, don't wanna wait. Yeah, don't wanna stay. You don't wanna say, you don't wanna say, you don't wanna say anymore.
I know that dope smoking hippie is a little long of a track to open with, but sometimes I just gotta. That song is so fucking brilliant. Damn you, Morgan, for being literally the guy singing there, Morgan, my friend from high school, most talented person I've ever personally known. The guy was like a true Renaissance artist. Like he was just good at everything he tried his hand at, you know? Played guitar amazingly, could play the drums, could play a number of different like woodwinds, played the flute like a fucking madman. He loved Jethro Tull. Like he worshipped Jethro Tull. And so he learned how to fucking play the rock flute, you know? I mean, the fucking guy was just musical theater, just like nobody could sing like him, nobody could act like him, nobody could move around like he was just he was magnetic, you know? I mean, the dude was a genuine triple threat, a brilliant writer, a brilliant performer, and a brilliant musician, all just kind of like rolled into one big fucking taco. And, you know, I look at the fact that he, of all people, didn't make it big somehow as like one of the fucking great travesties of my life, at least yet. You know, I don't know. Maybe Mo will break later in life. But man, I miss Morgan too. He's a really good cat, and we just live far apart. We live different types of lives, and you know, have different social circles and stuff now. And it's, but I do miss the guy. I do think about him quite a bit. Wow, you live, Paulie? I'm up with earthquakes. Maybe it's Jethro Tull. Maybe. Yeah, I just got like I don't know. My sleep schedule is all fucked up. Yeah, I was in a rock band. I had a little garage band in high school called Apple Nasty with Morgan and my friend Rodney. And our friend Nick playing the drums. That was the original cast of Apple Nasty. And it went through several iterations, most of them without me. I was in it in high school, and then after high school, it kind of came back a little bit. But I never really committed to being in it again. But I enjoyed it. It was fun. Some of the songs I play before the stream, like Madtown, I had a hand in writing. So that's kind of cool. They're old Apple Nasty songs that he covered with a newer band later in his teens. Those people, talented athletes, gifted academic people are crazy to me. Yeah. I mean, he just, I don't know. He was just on a different level. A super likable guy, too. Funny as fuck. So a great comedian as well. Like, really great, like, observational humor, super infectious laugh. When he laughed, he would he would convulse a little bit. He would ball up on the couch with this huge shit-eating grin on his face and like snicker. It was, I don't know, man. I just never knew anybody like him. He was just, I always, even though he was a year behind me in school, so he was a freshman when I was a sophomore. I always kind of looked up to the dude in terms of talent and just like social ability, you know, because he was a short king. You know, he was a little dude, but slayed pussy like as you can might imagine. You know, like nobody's business. When it comes down to it, when you got like Riz, as you kids call it, when you got the Riz, it doesn't like, dude, your height really doesn't matter with most people. Hello. Good evening. Welcome to my Insomnia stream. Of course, you can't develop personality if you're 6'6" or some shit. I mean, TJ kind of proves that wrong, right? He's the exception, maybe, that proves the rule. I don't know. I just think some people have big personalities regardless of their body size. You know what I mean? Like some big people got big. I've known, like TJ is a great example. And a lot of the big dudes that like will come to our meetups, you know, are fucking characters. I'm watching from work. Well, don't get busted. Don't get busted slacking off at the job. You better get back to work. You better get back to work, Missy. You got things to do. What are you doing? Slacking off over here. I'm just kidding. Bleed them dry for every minute that you can. Of course. Super Bowl after party stream. I'm packing a Super Bowl. Yeah, I'm just finishing up a J. I don't know, man. I feel like my tolerance came just like roaring back as soon as I started smoking weed again. It was like, well, like 2 weeks. I don't know. I just think I have an inherently high tolerance for weed. I think that I'm just one of those people. Because I want to be higher than I am, but I don't want to smoke another fucking joint. I guess I could hit like the dab pen or something. I do have that sitting over there. Do that maybe. Just don't feel like rolling another J. Yeah, are you in the LA basin, Fred? I've heard there's a lot of tremblers going on. I haven't felt any here. It's honestly not rare for us to feel the earthquakes. It takes a pretty big one though, and I have not noticed any here where I'm at. That's Labrador, man. It's mostly Labrador. That's a fucking. That movie is so good, dude. Up in Smoke is so funny. You got me smoking dog shit, man. Yeah. Oh man. Try some Gorilla Glue #4. I mean, whatever, dude. You can throw whatever strain at me. You gotta understand, Buster. I just don't think that, like, I love flour, but I think that at this level of tolerance, it really doesn't touch. It really doesn't like get me as high as I want to be, I guess. One bong rip and I'm nonverbal these days. Yeah. I mean, that's always it's always nice though, because but I mean, your tolerance is definitely like it's like slowed to a crawl if that's the case. Because back in them days, dude, you hardly like. I don't think I ever remember you. Maybe every once in a while you'd go like, "Nah, I don't want," But like anytime somebody passed something to you, you were hidden. Jealous of those people who have low tolerance. Yeah, or that can maintain a lower tolerance for longer. 'Cause I just have a lot of problem with that. My tolerance is pretty fucking high naturally, and then I think it just maxes out pretty quick if I'm just smoking like I like to smoke, like daily. So I don't know. I've also, I think, been smoking more and been dealing with a little bit more anxiety just because I'm trying to fucking like, I don't know, change my eating habits and whatnot, get a little healthier. Well, one thing at a time. But that always is kind of like an angsty time for me, especially at the beginning. Like at the start, it's pretty angsty. Whoa. Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's probably good, honestly. I don't recommend like for me it helps. It really does. I'm a basket case, and it's it's one of the few things that helps me to just chill a little bit and feel okay for a little while because there are some days I'll just lose a whole day to my mental illness shit if I don't do anything at all to intercede. I'm definitely one of those people that can just like throw a blanket over me and not come out from under it until I start to smell my own stink 2 days later. You know what I mean? Like, it's fucked. But I really try and avoid that to the best uh, possible ability. I don't, dude, I would not even deign to give advice to people in recovery. I would not, like, I am not an addiction medicine specialist. I would say listen to your fucking sponsor and your doctors and I don't know. Did you see Oppenheimer? I have not yet. I do need to see it though. I think it's coming to HBO soon, so I'll probably watch that when that happens. I don't know. I ain't in no fucking hurry. Yeah, I get you, smoke per. Everybody has their own way of doing things, and I've had pretty fucking good success in the past with just eating better and then doing a little exercise. I don't plan on like sharing what I'm doing or how often I'm doing very much because I really hate when people fucking. I get it. Like I think a lot of it is good natured, but it gets really annoying as like a like a content creator person to like talk about something and get just like the endless "you're doing it wrong" diet guys. The truth of the matter is that different things work for different people, and I've been fat for a long time, and like I know I've tried a lot of them. Okay, so I appreciate it, but I don't need to be guided through the journey or whatever the fuck. I'm doing okay, and I'm not really I'm not going super hard at it. I'm eating a little better, and I'm hoping that if I can get kind of the junk food shit out of my system a little bit, I'll have a little more energy. Then I can start taking some walks at night around my neighborhood and stuff. Um, I've thought about maybe getting like a, although now I kind of don't want to, but getting like an elliptical or something. Post your food diary so we could judge you over it. Okay. No. Did you say having access to a pool? Yes, it really did. So maybe I'll join like a YMCA or something. Like, I don't know. So just like find whatever the closest big Olympic kind of public pool is and hit that up. Just do meth. Yeah. No, I know. Trust me. That shit really started during my generation in high school. Every fucking chick I knew in high school was on it. No joke. Like they all were flirting with that shit. They all were using it to try and get skinny, and none of them really even got like ultra skinny. They just got super strung out and fucking, spun out and shit. Like it happened to everybody. I remember the one of the chicks that I was chasing in high school, I found out she was doing meth and I pulled her aside. I was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" She was like, "I don't know what you're talking about." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm not stupid." I was like, "Everybody knows. Like, you're not keeping any fucking secrets." I was like, "Why are you doing that to yourself?" It's like, "You're fucking like gorgeous." "I don't want to talk about it." And I was like, "Well, fuck you. You're gonna talk about it, and we cannot be friends after this if that's the way you want to fucking do. But I'm not gonna sit around and watch you like turn into a scabrous fucking weirdo. Like I care about you. I don't want you to hurt yourself. It's stupid to do that. And she ended up running out of the car, crying, but later on called me and said, "You're right, blah, blah," and she ended up kicking. So that's nice. But a lot of the chicks that I went to school with did not. It was so prevalent. Like, I guess there were probably a lot of dudes doing it too, but it was in my group, it really was not a popular thing to do amongst the guys. But every fucking chick danced with the devil. Dude, there was one chick, and I won't mention any names. She was so fucking funny and pretty, and she got into meth, and all through the fucking high school, she just got worse and worse. She got all, like scabrous and just skinny, not like sickly skinny, but just like, like thin and gaunt, and it fucked her up. And I found like I saw her on Facebook like a year ago or something. And she's fine. Like it looks, she's cleaned up. She's got like a whole ass family now. She's married. I was just so happy that she pulled up out of that because she was so nice. She was so cool and just like naturally funny, effervescent kind of person that I really liked. That just kind of got like hollowed out by it. Yeah, and I feel like now more than ever too, the ideal body type thing is all over the map, dude. People are celebrating BBW women and big fat asses and the type of shit that like drove women crazy in the 90s. I mean, if you want to look at what the 90s beauty standard for women was, just Google Kate Moss, okay? It was literally like that coat hanger look where you're uncomfortably skinny, bony, angly, flat as all fucking get out. It was very much like a throwback to the 20s in terms of like fashion and ideal silhouette. And it was a doozy, man. It did a number on the girls that came up in my generation, you know what I mean? And I gotta just be honest with you, having experienced both, it is way more fucking healthy now. Like a wide array of body types are routinely like appreciated. I just think it's way better. I'm glad that women aren't up against it as bad. That pressure is bad because it was fucked, man. Oh yeah. Well, like I said, the beauty standard back then, like there was a I was so the supermodel that I was into was Cindy Crawford. And I remember she would get criticized for being too like busty and too chunky. Like people were like, "Oh, I don't understand, Cindy Crawford's a little too fat or whatever." I would be like, "Fat? Are you kidding? Like you go look at Cindy Crawford. Like fucking retarded." But that's how like the beauty standard was. Every woman wanted to be, like not skeletal, but really, really, they called it heroin chic. Just kind of like wearing a loose top that hung down and you really have no breasts to speak of, ideally in that silhouette. Really tight pants that were low slung. So you showed off your belly button ring and blah, 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 and your butt crack and your tramp stamp, which we didn't have a name for back then yet. It was still, that's when a lot of women got them, I think. I don't like the body type of heroin chic, but I do like the fashion. Yeah, I mean, no, aesthetically, it was cool. I mean, I think about it, and like all the chicks I was into in the '90s kind of fit that body type. Like all the like famous chicks that I had crushes on. Like I had a real thing for Fiona Apple. She had a real like slight build, and that real kind of heroin chic, the big hollow eyes and stuff. Um, Mazzy Star was another, chick that had that beauty standard that I had a crush on. Shirley Manson, another chick. I don't know. Shirley Manson was a little curvy, but not really. Remember that pic of Billie Eilish that leaked where she got caught at a bad angle? Yeah, and that's why, there's still a lot of shit that women are putting up with. I mean, they're looking at these Instagram models who are just fucking photoshopped to death. You know what I mean? And they've got this, and then they look at themselves and they've got a blemish or an acne scar or rings under their eyes or, a crooked tooth or something. And they're just like, oh my God. Pink Ranger was my first crush. Lol. Yeah, I didn't really have a crush on any of the Rangers, but by the time the Rangers came out, I was honestly just old enough to make fun of them, so I didn't think they were all that cool. I just wasn't into the Rangers. I watched them to make fun of them with my friends. Well, yeah, filters and AI, but like you got to understand, like the top people they have a whole ass team, the influencers. Like they get a picture taken and then they got a whole ass fucking production team that go over that picture, apply all the filters correctly, fucking adjust it with Photoshop, let an AI do a pass over it. You know what I mean? That's, that's the beauty standard that gets radiated the hardest at like young women. And it's super fucking fake. It's super fucking false. But, whatever. It's better than it used to be, honestly. I don't see as many like young people, young ladies in particular, like that look like they're starving themselves, and that was really fucking common in the '90s. Like just on the edge of worryingly thin was how a lot of chicks kept their weight in the '90s, and the ones that didn't were made fun of and ostracized and called fat, even though none of them were even close to fat. Like if you just had a big dumper, you were fat in the '90s, and that's so stupid. I never subscribed to it. I still appreciated a big dumper in the '90s. The chicks I was into all had big dumpers. Okay, gonna be honest with you. The ones I was really into that I had any chance with. They all had a dumper on them. It was fun, dude. I was talking on one of these, and it really made me think about my childhood in a way that I hadn't. We were kind of talking about the same thing, like fashion in the '90s, and the way that women, the beauty standards of women in the '90s. And you guys remember I was talking about that chick that went to my school, the kind of like goth punk kind of chick, punky goth chick with the the nose piercing and the sleeveless shirt and the disdainful look in her eye that I was kind of chased around. Well, I didn't chase her around because I was honestly too afraid to approach her. I think the one time I did, she looked at me like I was the world's most contemptible worm, and I just like walked away. And I was like, "Well, all right." I took my shot and I shot my shot, and that didn't work out. But she had like, and it was almost like a fashion thing, like open like self-harm scars. And people in the chat were kind of taken aback because they were like, that was like fashionable. And I was like, you know what? I started thinking about it. I was like, yeah, it kind of was. I mean, I don't know. It was very common in the '90s. You chased her in your dreams. I did. Trauma is a trend. Yeah. Well, still kind of was when I was in yeah. I think it's like not as because like I feel like if that chick was going to high school now, she probably would be pulled into like the office and maybe even like moved to a school or whatever, like different. I don't know. Like I just don't think that you'd be allowed to walk around with like because she would like. I remember overhearing people saying that like sometimes people would put things in them to like irritate them so they stayed like kind of like not infected but like just like really prominent, and then they left a bigger scar, and so they would like sprinkle like cayenne pepper in them, I think was one of the things that they did, which must have felt really great. But like yeah, there were like a number of chicks that I remember and a couple of dudes that had really obvious like self-inflicted stuff that they would just show off, like it was yeah, like scarification. Yeah. I don't know. It just made me think about that because I hadn't like I remembered all that stuff, but I just had never gone stopped and thought about like, wow, that it's really weird that that was socially acceptable kind of when I was a kid. Like it said, I think it says quite a bit about like, what the attitudes were. It was pushed in the zeitgeist a lot. uh, the cool, misunderstood goth girl cut herself, and her teacher is very concerned about her. Yeah. No, you're right. There was always like, yeah, that character was in almost every movie in the '90s. The super hot, but like mentally, uh, uh, like mentally unstable goth chick. The Firuza Balk, dude. Like a whole subsect of chicks were trying to be Kate Moss, and a whole other subsect of chicks were trying to be Firuza Balk from The Craft. It was uncool like a generation later with the emo phase when I was in school. Yeah, the emo phase was interesting. I missed it. I aged up too quickly to really get into like the emo fashion and shit, but I always thought it was kind of cool looking, like the scene and emo shit. Um I just thought it was colorful and elaborate and still kind of kept some of that goth aesthetic to it. I thought it was neat. I don't know. I think I made fun of it like everybody did, but you know, looking back on it, it wasn't bad. It had its own thing going on. Paul, kind of an out of the park question, but have you only dated white women? Yeah, I guess so. I would say that everybody that I've seriously dated would have passed as white. Not all of them, I don't think, would be considered to be like totally white. Um, my first serious girlfriend was part Mexican. Her dad was Hispanic. Her mom was white. Um, so there's that. But yeah, I would say that is yeah, that my dating pool is pretty exclusively white chicks or chicks that pass as white, I guess. Pass. Well, kind of out of the park question, but have you? Oh, sorry, that was the same question. You say Mexican, do you mean Native American ancestry? No, I mean, dad came from Mexico. Yep, be careful. Have a good one. Um, like yeah, Mexican ancestry. Like dad was from Mexico. Is it wrong to have racial preferences in dating? Absolutely not. It's like preferences in dating. None of it's wrong between consenting adults. Like who cares? I'm into short chicks. I'm into tall chicks. I'm into tall guys. I'm into short guys. I'm into fat guys. I'm into skinny guys. I'm into fat chicks. I'm into skinny. Like who cares? I'm into Asian chicks. I'm into black chicks. I'm into like it's all. I don't get it. Like there's plenty of us to go around on the planet, and having your preferences is okay. Like certain amount like of your preferences, you really don't have much choice in. Like I've talked about this before, but I grew up in a household with a bunch of fucking sisters, and they were all little blonde hair, blue eyed cheerleader types. All of them cheerleaded. All of them did cheer. They were all blonde. And I've never dated a blonde, like somebody that was just hard ass, straight out blonde. I'm not attracted to them, like they just aren't what I'm looking for. I've always been, mostly, I guess, drawn to dark eyes and, but I've never dated a Becky, ever. Out of the loop, something happened with your wife? No. What will make you think that? My wife is fine. We're just talking about dating. Traumatized by your sisters did that to you. Yeah, probably right. It's just enough, I don't know. Enough with the like policing of other people's preferences and shit. Can we chill the fuck out and just be monkeys? Thank you. Can we just like admit that like we're the apes that we are, and everybody can jerk off to their shit in peace, and we can all start worrying about like the planet dying and stuff. Oh man, I would really like that. That's usually what it is. You can't date someone that looks similar to your family. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's how it is for me. I think it would be. I just have never been. They've never been in my wheelhouse. I've never been attracted to like the blonde hair, blue eyed thing. That's just my preferences. Gentlemen prefer blondes. Weird how a large portion of blondes aren't even blondes, but be a proud brunette. Oh yeah. No, dude, I love beautiful dark hair. Like I think it's so pretty and cool. I like colored hair too. I think that's neat and pretty. I just don't like basic hair. I don't like, and to me, basic hair is like strawberry blonde hair or whatever the fuck. Dirty blonde hair. It's like, do you even brown hair? I mean, come on. I want to speculate on Sneeko and if he's getting into getting pegged. Huh? Yeah, I'm not that into the drama world, bro. I know who Sneeko is, but I don't know anything about the dude. I honestly can't, like, he's one of those manosphere guys. I can't stand like 5 seconds with him. The most Sneeko I've watched is when Meat Canyon did like his Sneeko thing where he made a bunch of little tiny Sneekos popped out of his muscles or whatever the fuck it was. Like, that's the most Sneeko I've consumed. I've accidentally dated only Asian girls, but I don't really have a preference. No, dude. Nuh-uh. Wink, wink. Nudge, nudge. No, I'm kidding. I was being sarcastic about worrying about. Okay, gotcha. I gotcha. My bad, smoke perp. It's hard to read like intent in the chat. It's one of the problems with this medium. All right, ask some what's your favorite question and some recommendation for a movie or video game disguised as a questions. Those are the only two rules, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. No, have you seen? And know what's your favorite, and know what drug you done. All right, but anything else on the table? Radical honesty. Pick my brain. Whatever you want an answer to. Let's do an old school Q&A and let's make it good. I'm putting some pressure on you bastards, sitting out there soaking up all this free content. I don't charge for this shit, you know. What's the longest you've gone without sex as an adult? I honestly couldn't tell you. I've had some dry spells for sure, but I don't know. Never long. I don't track it. I never tracked it. How much do you weigh? I weigh, the last time I weighed myself, and this is also one of the reasons I was up in the 300s, so like 335 ish. Pretty fat, dude. Pretty fucking huge. I definitely never want to see that 400, and I think I could easily race towards that if I didn't do anything. So I'm taking precautions. All right, but that's about where I'm at. Are you afraid of death? I'm terrified of death, like everybody else is. Which conservative commentator do you think is most deeply in the closet? I don't know. I think they all are, to be honest with you. They're all gay, and it would be cute if it wasn't so sad. You're tall though. Yeah, I am. I mean, it's not as big as it would be if I was a shorter guy, but I'm still way the fuck overweight. I need to lose about 100 pounds. That's pretty fucked up. But I'm gonna do my best. Thoughts on Scar King from the new Godzilla long? I haven't watched it because I kind of want to watch. I was going to see if we could watch it on the show. I haven't watched on any of the new Godzilla Kong movie trailer teaser things that they've done because I've been trying to like keep my reaction fresh. I don't ever want to do another 24-hour stream. And all right, pause the questions for a second. I'll try and keep it here. I don't ever want to do another 24-hour stream, and this is why. They're not healthy for me, dude. They're not healthy for anybody. I cannot explain to you how fucking exhausted you are at the end of that. It's a whole different type of exhaustion. Yeah, you didn't like spend all day lifting bricks or whatever, but like being quote unquote on for that long in front of an audience is fucking. I do not recommend it. It's not healthy. It doesn't make anybody feel good. It shuts you down for like 2 days afterwards. It's fucked. I know you guys like that shit. I know it's fun to kind of dip in and out and go to sleep and wake up and oh my god, they're still alive. But like for us, they're really tough on the body and tough on the mind. So no. All right, now you guys can keep asking questions. I'll try and catch up. Have the scales ever said No, I've never got the error message. Do you still have the dream of the monster in your closet coming out? No. I still have recurring dreams though. That's been my whole life. They'll recur for 6 months or a year, and then I won't have them for a long time, and then maybe they'll come back a few. Like I have that type of pattern with shit. Paul, what D&D race would you be most identify with? I like gnomes, dude. I always have. I think gnomes are pretty dope. I want to be a gnome. At what age were you at your skinniest as an adult? Probably like 25, I want to say. I got down to about 230, 240. I was looking pretty fucking slimmy. That's about the best I've been. Have you ever played Dave the Diver? No. I've done a couple of them. They're quite difficult. I don't know what we're talking about anymore, but that's okay. Would you not do another one? I would not do another one. Being mentally exhausted is harder to recover from than being. Yes, it is. Would you do the skin surgery if you lost like 100 pounds? It depends. It depends on how much like loose skin I have and shit. I honestly like don't really like the way I look now. So having a bunch of loose skin wouldn't be a totally unfamiliar thing, and I would feel better. That's what I care most about, honestly. I'm not looking to lose all the weight or whatever. Like I don't think I want to be like thin. I just want to be healthier. I'd like to lose 80 or 90 pounds, and maintain that weight. The best moment in those long streams is when you argue with TJ about the 13th Warrior. Yeah. Do you think cinema is dying? No, I don't. I actually think this is one of the most exciting times for cinema in the history of cinema. I mean, it's more attainable for an average person to finance the shooting of a self-made film now than at any point in history. You have more release outlets for it and thus more options to monetize it and get it noticed now. I mean, basically, like if you are a movie maker or a person who's always wanted to do it, now is the best time in human history to do it. It has never been an attainable thing in the history of movie making until now. So that's kind of neat. I mean, I don't know. Stay tuned for Cinema for Cynics stuff. I don't know. The future of Cinema for Cynics is being discussed. Do you think YouTube was made as a honey trap? No. I'd donate if you did a GoFundMe for it. I don't do that. Paul, I'm glad you're like, I just don't do the GoFundMe shit. I'd never be comfortable doing that unless I was like raising money for somebody's mom who had cancer or whatever the fuck, and even then I'd be hesitant. I just don't like GoFundMe shit. Do you think you could beat TJ in a fight? Just a square, straight up boxing ring fight? No, probably not. TJ's a big dude. Big dudes just kind of innately hit like a truck. You know, I think maybe like out of 10 fights, maybe I beat TJ once. You know, maybe I get a good kick in his knee and break his leg or whatever the fuck, and he goes down, and I can really work him over that way. But I think that's what it would take. I would have to, you know, maybe feint like I was going to come in to punch him, and then just really hammer his knee real bad with a front kick, and see what I get with that. You know, see where I get with that. Because if that don't work, he's probably going to fucking knock me the fuck out. Paul is a lover, not a fighter. Yeah, I don't like fighting, man. I never have though. I don't like arguing. Like arguing makes me feel sick. Like in terms of like not, I guess not arguing. Like politics arguing is fine. Arguing with like a loved one makes me feel sick. And that's a lot of that is just I've been in so many relationships where, you know, there was like just a screaming, yelling at each other paradigm, and I can't do it anymore. Like I've had enough. I was raised in a household like that, and I'm 43 years old, and every relationship I've had prior to my current relationship has had that as like you know, a central figure. And it's no judgment of my exes and stuff. Like they're like it takes two to tango. I brought my baggage, they brought theirs. And I didn't know any better. And I think a lot of times neither did they. Just screaming, yelling at each other, mad fits, horrible, ugly stuff said to each other. And I can't do that anymore, you know. I eventually I had like a, you know, just like I don't know what it is. I don't know how to explain it. I think I finally had like maybe a moment of clarity, and it was after Ashley and I broke up. I really realized that I had been fucking myself over my whole life by chasing people that were brilliant and funny and amazing, but just so fucking like me in a lot of ways that there was like a clash, you know, an immediate like fucking struggle for supremacy would take place without either of us knowing it. And it just, I don't know, man. Amelia is, you know, she's quiet and reserved and super smart. And when she speaks, she's always thought through what she has to say. So this like angry, like snip snap shit, it never happens with her. She's not that type of person. And I'm so thankful for her. I can't tell you guys, dude. I don't want to get all fucking mushy mush, but fuck it. I appreciate my wife so fucking much. My life, you know, and I'm not saying it's without struggle and shit, but when it comes to that aspect of my life, just like peace and harmony and quietness, and I just have never experienced that in my entire fucking life, dude, my whole life until now. And I'm so grateful for that. You have no idea, guys. Smoking the dab reclaim now. Gotta re up soon. Yeah, me too. I gotta go get some flour here pretty soon, but I've still got a bunch of like dab pins. So I'm trying to crank through some of those a little bit, although I just I don't prefer them. I prefer a nice J. How does the left win over those working class people who work in polluting industries like energy, who feel environmental movement is an attack on their livelihoods? I mean, they've got to be able to explain to these people that these industries, the need for these polluting industries is not really substantively changing, and that renovating and modernizing these industries to be less polluting is actually going to be more money for them, in the long run. It's a renovation of the factory. It's a pay boost. It's a pay grade boost. It's government subsidies that some of which need to trickle down to the workers. It's really is just an economic argument, guys. I mean, I've been really thinking about this lately because I'm not an expert, but I think I'm really good at doing one of the things that I tell people we need to do, which is start talking to people again. And not necessarily like seeking out these like online attention seekers type of right wingers. I'm talking about just like normal people. Like start finding a venue in which I can engage average conservative people and start really codifying the argument that I need to make. I think it would be really smart. And I don't know exactly how to do it. I'm thinking maybe like college campus type of stuff. Maybe like set up at the college campus with a little sign and just say like, "Hey, if you're conservative, I want to talk." And really try and hone the message because I think it would be interesting to have a list of like here's your best practices when you're talking to a typical American Republican conservative person. Here's how you present leftism, you know. Do you have any interesting stories about bullies growing up, being bullied, being a bully, witnessing it? Random question. I've told bully stories before, honestly, and I don't know if I want to go back over them. I mean, I appreciate the question, but I have talked extensively about not only a kid that I bullied, but being bullied, and it's not my favorite fucking topic. It sucks. Being bullied sucks, and I don't feel like taking my brain there tonight. Um, Aaron Raw does stuff where he publicly debates religious people in the street. Maybe reach out to him. Yeah, I don't know. I doubt he likes me all that much. Those atheism plus guys didn't like me very much. It's still going to be like three major energy companies that run the whole grid, even if we transition from fossil fuels. Right. I'm a centrifuge operator in a drilling rig. My entire job is to reduce waste, increase efficiency, pretty much. Right. Exactly. It creates new jobs, it expands existing jobs, it creates a higher paying job because, the subsidies. You think everyone is picked on someone? No. I honestly think that there are people in this life that, and probably quite a few of them, honestly, which is really kind of sad, that never pick on anybody. And I think that they get picked on and alienated the hardest. Those type of peaceful people. I do not apply that to the whole fucking human race, dude. There's some straight up, like the Bible talks about the meek, how the meek shall inherit. Well, that's what I'm talking about. There are genuine, and meekness is not something that, like, if you describe somebody as meek, it's almost like a pejorative now, but I'm not using it in that way. Like, meekness is a virtue. People that are not hotheads, people that are not fast talkers and social manipulators, people that are like deliberate. What of the meek, the mourning, and the merciful? All doomed. All doomed. Most people I see that got bullied always could dish it out but couldn't take it. Yeah, I mean there was definitely a wide variety. Like I was a kid that I could dish it out back and I could take it back. Kind of developed that. I developed like the quick tongue way of doing it. And there were kids that like if you tried to bully or push up on them, they just punch you in the mouth and then you wouldn't again, you know? And so that was another way. But there were just people that were not built that way, that didn't know how to get by other than to just hope it got better and just ignore it to the best of their ability. And those are the meek. All doomed. All doomed. Would you rather be Boogie's butler or tutored by Tate? For how long? So do I like what is it? Like how long of my life do I have to spend doing one of these things? You have to expand a little. Cuz you can't say forever. I would escape and find a way to fucking never, there's no way. So you'd have to say like for whatever reason you've got to do this for this amount. So like how long? I'd go with Boogie because he'd be an easier to rob. Damn. You're a gangster smoke perp. 6 hours a day for each, 5 days a week, 6 month program. That's heavy. All right. Tutored by Tate, 6 hours a day, 5 days a week, 6 months. I mean, that's as close as it gets to a full-time job of just serving Boogie. Or, dude, this is actually tough because I would probably have to clean under some rolls, right? I'm his attendant, right? So, like, if he goes, attend me in the bath, I shall lift up the roll and you scrub underneath it. So I would probably be like, oh my God, dude. I'd probably be like mucking out Boogie's like under rolls and shit and taint. And then cooking him is just like copious amounts of food. I gotta go with Tate, dude. I gotta go with Tate because you know what? I'm gonna keep it a fucking stack with you right now. I bet I would have fun with Tate. Like I bet he'd go like, all right, Top G, that's it for today's class. Now let's go out and get some fucking pussy in Dubai. You know what I mean? I'd be like, sick. You want to drive my Bugatti? I'd be like, fuck yeah, Mr. Tate, thanks. Like I might get to do some cool shit with Tate. With Boogie, I would just be like sitting up, like, you know what I mean? Like soaking up that, like all that sweaty vinegar stink in that hovel of his. Just like listening to him constantly ranting into his mic, and then hearing that fucking bell jingle or however he summoned me and knowing I was gonna have to wipe his big fat ass or something. Ugh, nah. I'd rather sit and pretend to pay attention to uh Tate for a while in the hopes that like I could get in good with him so he'd take me out to the clubs and maybe buy me like a Rolex or something. Oh, you like watches? Fuck it. The top G don't even give a fuck. I know a guy at the Rolex place owes me a favor. Come on, let's go get you a watch. I'd be like, no, Mr. Tate. I can't do that. Shut the fuck up, bitch. Get in the Bugatti. Be like, all right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, Mr. Tate. I feel like the aura of depression that comes off of me naturally and the swamp of depression that surrounds Boogie would not mix. Whatever, dude. What a stupid question, but it was fun to think about. Oh my God, shut up, Jason. I don't even want to do it tonight, bro. I don't have the fucking. I'll mute you, bro. I won't let you be banned, but I will mute you if you keep up with the stupid trolling shit tonight. Like, at least come up with a different one, man. I'm so fucking bored of you nerds with your anti-trans shit. I really am, dude. I wouldn't want to custom make one. I'm into watches, so there's a couple of Rolexes that I would get. I mean, there's only really one Rolex I would even want. There's a Rolex called the Rolex Milgauss that I think is pretty fucking sweet looking. I really don't typically like Rolexes. I think they look pretty basic, and there's a lot of like brands, like micro brands of watches that look way fucking cooler to me. And I've been into watches for about a year. I still have not purchased my first watch. I'm horrible with that. I have such analysis paralysis, but I think I've leveled out what watch I want, and I've just got to pull the trigger on it. I want to start like a small, like, you know, maybe 5 watch collection or something, and just have some, and have watches that I really want to wear. You know, not just like, ooh, this is really nice, and I don't wear it because I don't want it to get fucked up. I want to get like a bunch of watches, or like 5 watches that I can wear that each look kind of cool, because I think it would be cool. Yeah, Swatch is a brand I'm looking at. I don't want a pocket watch. I want a watch. I don't like smartwatches, no. I do like digital watches, though. I don't know if I want to own a bunch of them, but I definitely have to get like a Casio calculator or something. Everybody needs one of those. Do you have a chain? A chain? Like a gangsta chain? Nah, dude. No, I don't have a chain. Like a nested in my fucking chest hairs 70 guy, like 70s, like little tiny gold chain or what? No, I don't have a chain. The Black Milgauss looks awesome. I know, I love them. But I don't really like any of the other fucking Rolexes. The brand I'm really looking at is a brand called Mula. They have an entry level watch called the Aerosport that is really fucking cool looking, nice big face pilot style watch, made by a company with a lot of watchmaking heritage. I love German watches. You know, Swiss watches are really like considered to be some of the best in the world, but German and Japanese watches are fucking amazing. And Mula is just I don't know. I really want to own a watch from that company. And their entry level watch, it goes on sale. It's not that, I mean, it's pretty expensive, but You know what I mean? It's definitely not like a Rolex. But yeah, there's like a whole ass, a town called Glashütte in Germany, where a lot of these brands, some of the biggest brands in the world, you know, along and Sona is based there. And Mula is a Glashütte brand with an affordable entry level piece that's kind of cool. It's got a date function on it and just looks neat on the wrist. And it's big. And because I have big wrists, so I need that. Got a ton of beanies. It's Mulhe with an umlaut over the U, but I guess you probably won't have to search that. Mula. What's the most you would spend on a watch? I don't know. I mean, it depends a lot on. If we're talking theoretically here, then theoretically, what am I making at this level? At my current level of income, like, I don't think I would feel right going over $1,000 for a watch, and I think that would be the extreme edge of what I would be willing to spend on a watch. Like, I would rather buy, like, there's a lot of micro brand watches and stuff that you can pick up for, a couple $100. And, I'd buy one every 2 or 3 months or some shit, or buy myself one every year for my birthday or whatever the fuck. And just build like a little collection of cool watches that I like to wear. I don't really have any designs on getting a big AP or a Rolex or whatever. I'll probably never get a Milgauss. It's the only Rolex that I would probably even want to own, honestly. I look at some Rolexes and then the price of them, and I'm just like, you got to be fucking joking. 30 grand for a stainless steel watch. It's like, feel the same way about AP, and they're even more expensive. You look at like an AP Royal Oak stainless steel. I mean, you can't get one, and the aftermarket on them is like 100 grand or more. It's like, nah. Mm-mm. Oh, there's a ton of Casios in that range at $100. I would love to get a couple of beaters that are $100 that I wear out a lot more, but I definitely want to have one that I can throw on, to spice up an outfit, or just when I'm going out, just because I feel like wearing it. I want to have 4 or 5 watches, like that. Paul Patek Parky. Yeah, no. People buy them as investments. Yeah, from what I can tell, people that buy them from investments will tell you that they're actually kind of horrible to buy as investments. Like, you should really buy them to collect them and the investment be secondary. Paul thinks he's cool, but he's not. Yeah, true. Besides fashion, I don't see why watches are very necessary anymore. They're not. It's not about them being necessary. What got me into watches was I started watching a watch repair channel called Wristwatch Revival here on YouTube. There's a number of them, but he's my favorite one, just because I thought it was interesting. It got recommended to me, and he takes watches apart and services them and talks about how they work. And when I saw how intricate and cool these mechanical movements were, I really started looking at watches in a different way, and really started to gain an appreciation for the dial color and arrangement on different types of watches, and really developed like a taste for watches. Like, what do I like the looks of? And as it turns out, field watches and pilot watches are my home base. And that'll probably make up what most of my collection. I'd also like to get a dive watch, and for that, I will probably get a Casio, honestly, because it's not my favorite thing, and I think Casio's got some actually kind of cool looking dive watches. But yeah, I really love field watches and pilot watches. Casios are cool because they're the opposite of bougie. I don't know, man. Like some of the higher end Casios and Seikos, or Seiko is the same way, by the way. Seiko is another brand where you can, for a couple $100, get a fucking really beautiful watch. You know what I kind of want to do? There are people that do these like rebuilds on Seikos. So they will take like a factory Seiko and then they buy like an aftermarket crystal and an aftermarket face. There's this dude that did a Seiko. I'm trying to remember what it was, like a Seiko Ninja, and he called it the Blood Moon. And he bought like a crystal that was tinted red and a custom dial for it and shit. And it looks so fucking sweet. Like pick up the watch for $150 and then send it off to one of these guys and pay a couple $100 for him to like really customize it. I think that'd be cool. I do like Omegas, but I don't know. Like to me, they're just dive watch centric, and I'm not a big dive watch guy. Yeah. Push it to the limit. BR Moore walking around with his Casio calculator on, fucking carrying a bale of money into the bank in the 80s. Nothing wrong with Fossil if you're poor like me. No, I mean like there's honestly like there's Casios. We're talking about Casios. There's Casios you can get for like 60 or $50. You know what I mean? Ender Tate has some cool watches. He's got some like blinged out pieces of shit, dude. I remember like he's got some factory stuff too, but all of it's like high end shit. It's just like AP. Like, look, it's a cool watch. I think the Royal Oak is a really neat looking watch, especially the bigger ones, like the 41 millimeter Royal Oaks. I think those are really cool looking watches. I think APs are cool. And when you get one from the factory with a bunch of diamonds on it, as long as it's factory certified diamonds and it was done by AP, it's big money and it's a big like statement piece and it's cool. I'm not gonna hate, but I don't know, dude. I don't think I could walk out of the house with $180,000 on my wrist. And Fossil, I'm like, look, dude, I don't hate on anybody's watch. I have certain ones that I like, and I'm kind of into the like a little bit more nice, but not certainly not like out of control, but a few $100 micro brand watches that are available. There's a lot of really cool ones, and I've got it narrowed down to a few different brands that I like. I really love Doxa watches, but they're just a little too expensive for me. I keep hoping that like I'll be able to find one because Doxa is a dive watch, honestly, but it doesn't look like all the other. I just love the way that Doxa dive watches look. I think they're called like a Hell Diver or whatever. But they're a little too expensive. There's a really nice one that I kind of like. It's like a GMT by this company, Victorinox, who's really known for making Swiss Army knives, but they also have made a line of watches for like 80 years, and they're pretty cool looking watches. Swiss, obviously, so Swiss equals good. Yeah, when you take like here's the thing. You will see rappers wearing and rapping about their chandelier AP, right? It's an AP that they had bust down. They took into the jeweler and they said, "Hey, bust this down." And the jeweler basically ruined the watch. They took an AP, which is probably worth like $200,000, right? And they drill holes in the case on it, ruin it. Basically, they ruin it in the aftermarket, and they put a bunch of diamonds in it. Oftentimes, the diamonds are real cheap and shitty. And they flood out the piece so that it sparkles in the light and shit. But they've added a bunch of diamonds to it, and now the AP is worth less on the aftermarket. Like when Young Thug goes to try and sell that chandelier AP, he's not going to get $200,000 back out of it. He's going to be offered like 80 grand for it, and he'll probably have to take that. Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat, Keldo. I used to wear watches a lot. I always kind of kept a watch as a kid. I had a couple of different Casios as a kid, and just some like off-brand, kind of like almost novelty watches. I had like a Mickey Mouse watch I wore for a while as a kid. It was just a more common thing in my generation, but it really started to dry up in my generation. And by like the millennials, and then Gen Z, of course. Once I had a smartphone, I didn't have a watch. But I kind of want to get back into it because I always kind of liked them. I'd rather walk around like a bum with no watch until I can afford a high quality experience one. I mean, that's fine. I mean, there's a lot of high quality watches that are not $30,000, but you do you. I started wearing a watch because I need to at work, and it just carried over into my everyday. Yeah, cool. I could have sworn you just described. I did do a stream earlier, man. It's crazy. You know what I did though, dude? I did this crazy thing. I decided I wanted to stream again for a little bit, and I started another stream. Isn't that funny how that works? Anyway, I don't want to bore everybody in the audience with my watch talk and shit, but it's just something I'm really interested in, and I really like the idea of building a little collection, and I'm gonna do it. I wish you guys would do a Dave Rubin gauntlet. No. You've got a caliber 520 Omega. Neat. The mechanical tick is fast. Yeah. I love mechanical watches. So anyway, that's enough though. Like I said. Will you do watch review videos at some point? I might. I don't know. I think it'd be cool if I really get into it and I can use any proceeds from the channel to like feed my watch habit. That's a win-win to me. If I did do that, I would definitely want to focus on the bottom end of the expensive chain, like Swiss calibers and stuff, but not paying thousands of dollars, maybe a $1,500 limit at the very fucking top. Do a King Cobra deep dive. No, I've watched a little bit of King Cobra. I've been thinking about doing a show on lol cows, not necessarily to make fun of them individually, though I'm sure we'll do that as well, but the phenomenon and the fans of it and the culture that has grown up around it, because the whole lol cow culture has really exploded in the last 5-10 years. And I find it kind of interesting from that perspective. Do you like gimmicky watches? Depends on the gimmick. Like one day I would love to own an Accutron watch because they've got that like dual harmonic drive. They don't have a mainspring, like a tuning fork thing that it does or whatever the fuck. I don't know how it works quite, but I think it's cool. That's kind of gimmicky. I think the Ulysses Nardin Freak looks kind of cool, and that's a very divisive watch. If you look up Ulysses Nardan Freak, that watch is very divisive amongst people. I like that watch. So yeah, I guess I like quirky watches and goofy watches and gimmicky watches and something with a little, extra color on it or something that does things a little different. I don't understand why people like watching lolcows. I just feel bad for both lolcow. Dude, I'm getting sucked back into watch talk. I'm such a watch nerd. I'll shut up. I don't understand why people. Yeah, lolcows. I don't know. I do end up feeling pretty bad for the lolcow in a lot of the cases when I've looked into it. I looked into Chris Chan many months, like years ago. Honestly, it's the reason why I didn't want to cover him on DP, and I like warned the guys against doing it. And I think properly, because I think Chris Chan is a deeply disturbed human being who has been horribly fucking, like, if you know the history of Chris Chan, I mean, say what you want about some of the like awful things that he's been accused of and been proven guilty of. He's one of the most consistently gaslit individuals on the planet. He is a person who has special needs, who can't really discern fantasy from reality at some levels, who was just taken advantage of cyclically by a group of really fucking sadistic and malicious people who exploited him into doing pornographic and self-harm kind of things, and just constantly infiltrated his life and then pretended they were other people and gaslit him over and over and over and over again, and then laughed as he went crazy. It really is a fucked up thing, and it kind of happens with a lot of these lolcows. Cyrax is another one, right? Once again, not a great dude, Cyrax. If you look into his history or whatever, he's definitely not a model citizen. But the fact that there's like this army of people, because like in my mind, Cyrax is clearly like mentally deficient. He doesn't know how to stop. He's got like some anger issues and shit, and he doesn't have a strong family structure. Nobody will step in and just like stop him from making a fool of himself. And so he just keeps engaging with these trolls and trying to beat them, and they just continue laughing at him. And, if you watch enough of it, you end up just feeling really sorry for Cyrax, which, I don't think is their intended goal. I think they want you to like chuckle along at what a weird fuck he is. But like at the end of the day, just like you look at him sitting there all scabrous, skinny, hollow faced, and screaming at a fucking troll that's been trolling him every day of his life and taking advantage of the fact that he's kind of retarded, and I feel the same way about Christian. On the other end of that spectrum, lolcows that I don't feel bad for, Dark Side Phil. Dark Side Phil, I believe, deserves every fucking ounce of trolling that he gets. I've followed him for a long fucking time. And, because I used to be really into Let's Plays, and he was a really big Let's Player back in the day. And so I became aware of him, and then really got immediately almost swept into like the very early, what he calls the detractor community. So people that just kind of hate watch him because he was smug and stupid and really kind of shitty at games. He's one of those dudes that's like unironically like will never admit if he fucked something up in a video game. Like he needs to be like Das Uber gamer. You know what I mean? That's DSP in a nutshell. He built his whole fucking like ego around the premise that he's like badass at video games, right? Because he placed in an obscure version of fucking Street Fighter in a couple of national tournaments back in the fucking late 90s or whatever. And that has led him to believe that he's like the Uber gamer, and any game where he dies over and over again, it must be because the game fucking sucks. The game designers don't know what the fuck they're doing. And the controller is fucking broken, or you know what I mean? Like there's never it's dropping my inputs. It's never like, holy fuck, I just got like, he plays fighting games a lot, and I watch a lot of fighting games. And like, he will sit there and he'll just get blown up. Like I know enough about fighting games to know how he got opened up, and he'll be like, wasn't doing anything. And I just want to scream at the guy. Like when he gets hit, he'll be blocking in the corner, and then he gets opened up and he'll scream like, wasn't doing anything. And I was like, yeah, that was the problem. You were standing up and you got opened up low. Like they hit you low. Oh my God, wasn't doing, I was blocking. And it's like, yeah, you were blocking, but you were ducking and they hit you with an overhead. He's so stupid. And like to be like a video game champion guy, like he presents himself, but not understand this basic shit about fighting games is fucking hilarious. And so I don't feel bad for Phil at all. Phil is a douchebag, and he's a lolcow that has he's not retarded, so you know he has no excuse. Is DSP really a bad person? I don't know. It's not really about being a bad person. It's about being like a hateable personality that refuses to like ever admit fault or have any kind of self-deprecation at all. Like he's just very much married to this vision that he's like this persecuted guy for no reason. When in actuality, it's because he's just like an asshole. He blames everybody else for his problems. He had probably one of the most lolcow moments ever. I mean, the shit going on with Vosh, in my opinion, pales in comparison to what DSP had. I mean, he literally like jerked off on stream. Like, thankfully, the cam was only a face cam, but you can look it up. Look up DSP, the incident, and you'll find DSP was like, it was the pre-stream, and he didn't know his camera was up. And he decided to fucking blow one out real quick before the stream and clear his head. And he did it right there at his fucking computer like a dumbass because he thought, like, you know, the other scene was playing. Didn't know his fucking camera was live. And he just jerked off to completion. You've got a whole face cam of him jerking off to completion. It is really hard for me to imagine. You know, I don't know. I mean, that's TJ's banana ass is really the only thing that compares, you know. Wings of Redemption or whatever. I don't know. I do kind of feel sorry for that guy, but he is a real fucking, like, he's a scumbag. Like, he begged his fucking fans and they raised a bunch of money for him to get a surgery. And then he chose to keep a bunch of the money and go and get a cheap Mexican version of the surgery. And only after months and months of stalling on it. And then he beat it. Like he didn't really want to get the surgery. But he got it anyway. And then he just kept eating like shit. And so now he's fatter than ever. You know what I mean? And like, to me, that's like a fucking straight out grift. Like if you find if like your community came together and financed your fucking surgery, like you ought to do everything in your power to get healthy. You owe it to them. They reached out a hand when you were drowning in fat and tried to save your life. He doesn't treat it that way, you know. He's just sitting there eating Wendy's on cam still and shit. He's fucked up. He's a whiny bitch boy and probably deserves to be trolled. He needs to go, you know, like he's one of those people that like go get a job, dude. You know, because if you look, you actually watch, especially Wings of Redemption, you watch his streams, it's just like nothing. He'll just like sit there and poorly play like Call of Duty and get salty every once in a while when he dies over and over again and playing. He's very much like, he's like DSP in that way, but he's way more of a sad sack than DSP is. DSP's got more fire to him. Like Wings is just like, everybody hates me, make fun of me. I got depression, got anxiety. I don't understand why everybody makes fun of me. I don't do, you know what I mean? He's just like soaking in the self-pity constantly. Boogie's the same way. I don't feel bad for Boogie at all. Like, how can you? Boogie had his whole fucking future in front of him, and he decided to, like, by his own admission, fritter it away on a few, like, high-priced fucks and gambling and a bunch of bullshit. And he's miserable, and he probably deserves to be a little bit. He's kind of like a shitty person. He's manipulative and he lies, and you know, I don't know. Yeah, I don't think he's that great of a person. So, and I don't think he's retarded. So yeah, I mean, he could go get a job somewhere else. He could quit the online shit, or even move it into something that like he wasn't front facing and try and build something else. But no, he keeps his fucking sad sack act out because that's the easiest thing to do is just like keep his hand out to his dwindling fan base and go like, hey, throw some coins in there, bro. I'm not going to give you anything for it, but please throw some coins in there. It's like, well, it's one thing. Like we do donations and shit on our channel, but it builds towards goals that we set and shit. You may not like those goals, but at least we're giving a little something for what people give us back. They get a little extended show. People seem to be happy with that arrangement. It works out. Just like, oh man, donation tracker, man. Because I really got to make $5,000 or I'm going to lose my house. Like, ugh. Like, I just don't even think I could ever come to my audience that way. You know what I mean? It's one thing to go like, hey, we really want to do this thing for you guys, but we need you to buy in. We need help, because we can't really finance it ourselves. But if you guys want to donate, I would be perfectly fine doing something like that. I would damn sure like make sure to the best of my ability that it was carried out if there was other people's money tied up in it, like donation money. But, but this like, oh man, guys, I can't handle my personal business and I need to exist for another month sitting on my couch and playing Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. And I just can't get a job. Could you guys give me $5,000? Like, ugh. I just couldn't do it, dude. Yeah. And I mean, DSP does the same shit. Darkside Phil does the same fucking shit. You're like, all right, guys, here in the pre-stream or whatever. I hate to do it to you. I really do. But it is tax time again. And you know what that means? I've got a huge tax bill and I'm going to need your guys' help. I really need your help this month to make that tax bill manageable. Okay. And so we're going to, like it's just always structured on like, you got to donate because I'm financially overextended. And it's like, why though? Like if I was a viewer of DSPs who even would consider donating to him, I would have to hear an answer to like, why? Why are you financially overextended? Why are you living in a house that you can barely afford to be in? And why should I donate to alleviate you from the suffering of that? You know what I mean? Like, go, you could do better. Sell that house that you're in. Take the fucking loss, move into a nice apartment with way less rent. Boom. Now you don't have monthly bill problems and you don't have to like burden me, your audience, with constant begathons and shit, Constant sob stories about how they've got to donate so that you can pay your fucking taxes or whatever. I had a medical bill come up and I'm, whatever it is. It's just like, fuck you. Like, because trust me, like if you have a hardship in your life, DSP is not going to be there to lift you out of it. So why, like, it's just such a stupid reason to give people money. And the fact that like that's what he does, he just kind of like, well, not just him, but a lot of these like lol cow streamer guys are just so pathetic. Just whining to their like, look, I'm being open and honest with you guys about where my finances are, and I just don't have enough money to make it. And it's like you realize you're probably talking to a whole gang of people that are literally experiencing poverty, and they're watching you sit there big as the moon, playing Call of Duty badly all day and whining about how you can't pay your bills, and they all want to strangle you to fucking death, dude. because they're out there on the grind and still can't make ends meet. And you're sitting there with your big fucking fat butt crack melding with that fucking squeaky ass chair. And you're playing fucking Breath of the Wild till your eyes bleed and whining about how hard your life is and how you can't pay your bills while you're living in the nicest house these people have probably ever seen. It just fucking get out of here, you know? King Charles begging for money. Yeah. Any thoughts on Only Use Me Blade? I've started looking into him too. And that's another sad story. I mean, this is a dude that is like clearly like a non-functioning alcoholic who has basically entered into a weird devil's pact with his chat. They pay him money to drink copious amounts of alcohol. He gets fucked up and almost dies, or gets fucked up and almost gets beaten the fuck up, or hit by a car, or whatever the fuck. And they all laugh at it. And that's how he lives his life. And it's just like borderline illegality. You know, I mean, there's actually like he drives drunk from what I've been able to see. I've been able to, like, just in looking into him pretty briefly, I was able to find that he, at least twice that I could find, has just gotten obliterated on stream drinking Jaeger bomb after Jaeger bomb. And then he goes and gets in his car and incoherently drives a mile and a half away to get cigarettes or whatever. You know what I mean? Yeah, he's hung out with Andy Dick. He had his own like RV, and that was just degeneracy of a whole different fucking level, dude. Those RV streamers, oh my God. I mean, it's just fucking like some of the worst people on the planet, honestly, got together, went in a rickety, stinky, moldy RV, and then made it worse with their putrid taint and ass and unwashed stench and fucking puke smell. And they just drink. They would just like drink and do drugs and fight each other in the RV. It looked like such a stink pot, dude. I couldn't imagine the wave of stink that would hit you if you got on that RV. And they just totter around the country making nuisances of themselves, like parking somewhere and then all fanning out over the city to do this like quote unquote IRL content, which basically ought to be called what it is, annoying people in public and wasting people's time content. And they'll go out in public and walk up to people having lunch and be like, "Hey, how you doing? Do you like Hitler?" You know what I mean? And they'll be like, "What? No, no, no." And they're like, "Oh, I'm just kidding." You know, and just walk away. Just like trying to be comedians and shit. And people throw donos at them to do it. And then at night, they all congregate back at this fucking rickety haunted RV. This like heroin RV. And they get in there and they just get fucking absolutely shitty on the worst kinds of liquor. I mean, Jaeger, come on, dude. Smoke a bunch of weed, sexually assault each other, get in a big fist fight. I mean, just degeneracy, dude. Yeah, actively watching a dude die on stream. I found that one out about good old Blade. Dude had and apparently the lore is pretty thick on this. Blade had a girlfriend, and that girlfriend left Blade for one of the moderators in Blade's chat. A guy named Willie, I think, or Billy. Whatever. This is a 40-something-year-old dude, and he was hanging out with Blade after that all went down. They were still friends, I guess. He's hanging out with Blade, and he just starts drinking, and he ends up chugging like a whole ass fucking handle of vodka, or a whole handle of, I can't remember what it was, like rum or bourbon or whatever the fuck it was. And dude is all fucked up, and he's like passed out on his feet, and they're making fun of him and trying to wake him up, and he won't wake up. And then somebody's like, "Hey, dude, you ought to fucking, do something. He's gonna fall." And everybody's like, "No, he's fine. Look, he's fine. He's standing up." And then like 10 seconds later, he falls, cracks his fucking skull on the ground. And they all like, he's passed out. They can't get him to wake up. He just fell and hit his head. He's laying on his back, snoring and unresponsive. and they draw like juggalo paint on his face. And then finally, when he started like turning blue and shit, they called 911. Dude was taken to the hospital and died like 4 days later. And this happened in like on live stream in this dude's streamer house, which is another like pit of degeneracy where it's like it's everything I said about the motorhome, but now they're renting somebody's house and turning it into like debauchery land, puking all over the walls and shitting on the floor and just like meme lords, you know what I mean? But they're all like 40. That's the creepy thing about it is they're acting like 20-year-old who gives a fuck, I'm gonna live forever, like frat boys, but they're all in their like late 30s and 40s. It's like, ooh. You know what I mean? Like, ooh. Woof. But yeah, I mean, like he's another one of these dudes that he's being actively killed by his chat, and they know it, and he knows it, and they're kind of okay with it. And it's just like, well, I mean, is there a problem here then? Maybe not. I don't know. But it's definitely an interesting kind of subculture that's developed on the internet, and I really do think it's sad that it has developed because you know why I think it's developed. I think people feel hopeless, and I think people have a very, very low opinion of themselves. And I think seeing these crazy, retarded guys making fools of themselves over and over, or these, you know, just like transparent, poor me grifters just barely making it by. And like when they see somebody that's just a big scumbag or a retarded person that doesn't know any better, it's like, well, I'm better than that, though. I mean, let's be real. That's 100% why this subculture exists. And I think that being its impetus really makes like a lot of the people that really participate in it kind of shitty people. And no, I'm not just talking about the personalities. I'm talking about the chatters that egg this on and like all that. Yeah, at least I'm not that. And it's just really fucking sad that that is so needed that we're seeking out all the little weirdos in the world and like, and they'll do some crazy shit. Like, once again, like Cyrax, he's this little crazy looking dude. And, you know, like say what you want about him. He's definitely like not a great person, but like they fucking like will go outside his house and yell at him, stalk him, like rent Airbnbs across the street from where his family lives, and then live stream his house and shit. And like they do all kinds of fucked up stuff to the dude, and they take advantage of the fact that he's kind of retarded, so he doesn't know, you know, sometimes how to separate fantasy from reality, and so people pretend to be his girlfriend and then leak his whatever docs he gives them, you know, drop all his DMs and make fun of him for it. And he's, like I said, he's mentally kind of like not all there, so it's he doesn't learn, you know what I mean? He just keeps getting gaffled up by the same shit, and people just keep laughing at him. I mean, there's one with Cyrax in particular. It's unbelievable to me, not for a number of reasons. Number one, unbelievable to me that it is still up on YouTube and my channel is banned, because it is literally this dude who I have suspicions might be fucking AIU, by the way. He sounds a lot like AIU from back in the day, but he calls himself Music Biz Marty, and he is dedicated his life. He like makes his whole living trolling this Cyrax kid. And this whole live stream is him blackmailing Cyrax. Cyrax is, once again, keep in mind, Cyrax is not all there. He tells Cyrax, so Cyrax has a friend come in to the stream, like a personal friend, not an internet person, a personal friend of his come into the stream to vouch for him. And it's another like retarded person. And Marty immediately takes advantage of that retarded person and finds out his docs and threatens to dox his boyfriend, this retarded person's boyfriend, who is also a very like a non like an almost nonverbal autistic guy that can bear, you know what I mean? And so like he basically like holding holding this dude hostage, blackmailing him just to get Cyrax to dance like an idiot, to like take his shirt off and dance. And he holds this person, this friend of Cyrax's, who's not all there, clearly, in this room for hours, threatening him with like, I'm going to sick the whole internet on your fucking autistic boyfriend if Cyrax doesn't dance. And it's just like hours worth of that. Like, fuck. Like, what is this anymore? It's like torture, you know? Yeah, you're not wrong. One winged angel. Dude does look like, and you know, whatever. He didn't get to choose the way he looked. Neither did we. He didn't get to go to the character creator. So him looking freakish or whatever the fuck is unfortunate for him. But once again, I think it's just people can look at him and look at his like roach infested fucking attic room in his grandparents' house and go like, well, at least I'm not that. And in service of doing that, people just do mean, horrible things, heartless and horrible and illegal things. Kind of fucked up. Kind of a fucked up self-feeding content hole of depression and negativity. AIU was killed. Yeah, I don't believe it. I was listening to them side by side, and dude, I could fucking hardly tell. You know what, dude? Maybe I'll pull it up. You guys fucking tell me. Okay, let's see what I can get here. Okay, so here's this. This is the AIU meltdown on the Flying Monkey podcast that he had when he was mad at all the Trumpies. And then let me just find like a Music Biz Marty. I want to tell you this isn't the same. Tell me this isn't the same dude. Okay, let me see if this. Okay, yeah, this works. I'm not even going to put it up on screen because I don't want to get, you know, my channel flagged because sometimes Cyrax pulls out his dick and a lot of these channels don't care. That's one of the things he does to try and get people's channels banned who are making fun of him and still like pull his dick out and waggle it. So I'm not going to show it, but yeah, stop the screen for now and then let's do a reshare, and I gotta do that and this. Do it like that, and then yeah, okay. So let's listen to AIU first.
If you seriously think voting for Donald Trump is a good idea for America,
wait a minute. Did Micah just put on an InfoWars fucking video to me?
No,
Did she just
she's
put on
literally
InfoWars?
in the.
So that's him there, saying, "Did you just put on an info word?" If you don't recognize AIU's voice, okay.
Look.
Unbelievable. I'm listening to an InfoWars video about
No,
Hillary. Okay.
I've put the section in which Hillary is in it
Okay,
on the screen.
Sure.
Here we have Hillary.
Okay. This is Music Biz Marty.
Cyrax, I was just trying to wish you a happy new year. I'm not trying to get in the way.
You say that
What
every
you guys like?
time.
Is Marty and Cyrax at a piano? I haven't been at a piano with you guys in so long. It's so great.
I don't pay attention to you, man. Like I really don't.
Sure, you don't.
It's just really beautiful.
So that was Music Biz Marty. Once again, let's listen to a little back and forth. I'm gonna find a better video that isn't somebody's commentary on this. I just want to like find the full stream. Yeah, Music Biz Marty stream. So we'll look at that here in a minute, but first, a little more AIU, right?
Oh, pass. We've had a year.
Where is it?
Fuck off, Jack Dutfield. The fuck out of here.
She's also perfect.
Where is it?
Oh,
Hillary
yeah.
Clinton, openly threatening
Someone
Trump,
find me the
who's been
timestamp for that, please, in the video.
being irresponsible.
I can't find it. I'll tell you her words that she said.
I've got to skip ahead here because
They have that political view. That's my opinion.
he sit and sulks. He sulks at the beginning of this. I should probably just find another AIU video. Let me just find another. Let me find another AIU. Okay. That doesn't have two guests. Because I really want to do this comparison. You guys we're gonna fucking forensic files this shit together tonight. We're gonna figure out once and for all who the man about town really is, dude. Because I heard this dude's voice and I immediately, when I started looking into Cyrax, I heard this dude's voice and I was like, is that AIU? And dude, I can't fucking tell the difference between the guys, honestly. I've listened to it. AIU. Devin Tracy on the kill stream talking about Mundane Matt. I just want like an old AIU archive channel or something. My full appearance on the Lotus Eaters. Is it the pouch? Is that his new thing? The pouch. The pouch. Yeah, the pouch is unstoppable. Yeah, okay. The Tic Tac I don't know if these are just talking videos. Let me click on one. It's actually, I haven't looked into AIU in the longest time. I was using that other video. I don't want a conversation. I want you to talk.
Bombshell testimony from military officers. Okay. They say UFO.
All right, shut up. I want to hear AIU talking.
And above him and disappearing off back behind him to the left, Europe.
Even though they were completely bewildered as to what they just witnessed.
And that
Okay. This is a good one. Music Biz Marty. I think it's the same dude. And I'm surprised I don't see this floating around anywhere. I think this is the same guy. Does Andy Worski count as a lolcow? No, I haven't seen or thought about Worski in who knows how fucking long. All right, let's see.
I'm gonna make this video very fucking long.
Okay.
Okay. You know. Okay. Well, what? No question mark. Lowercase I. Capital B. I mean, okay, whatever. Fuck the technicalities. So I guess this girl with the blonde hair is taking shots at female chance, which is basically what it seems like. And I guess her dad is a deadbeat drug addict.
just away.
That's it.
And we, as you know, there's
and just totally unfazed.
2 radios, 2 ICS, and
Come on.
4 people.
AIU, you must speak.
Humbling experience. I don't know what that was. I don't know where it went. It's no longer on my radar, but see, that's the thing. It was on someone's radar a few seconds after it bolted. And that radar was Kevin Days back on the Princeton.
You know, I guess she's feigning being afraid of a druggy pillhead whose parents are deadbeat, worthless nobodies. Yeah, pretty cool stuff. Pretty cool stuff, I'd say. Yeah. It's written exactly how he talks. Yeah, that is totally true.
Open and shut case.